Carl Froch has released his top 10 pound for pound list on the Sky Sports website, which I'm about to read out for you in just a moment. But before I do, I have to say I'm not a huge advocate of pound for pound lists. I don't tend to do them myself because the concept is so abstract. But for those people who do, you may find Carl Froch's list interesting. And I will ask some questions about some of the placements that he has in his top 10 pound for pound list. For example, why is this guy here when his resume is no better than a certain other fighter who didn't make his pound for pound list, etc. Okay, so let me just go through the fighters from number 10 to number 1 and give you Carl Froch's explanation for each placement. In at number 10, Kell Brook, a victim somewhat of his IBF mandatory defenses of late, but since Floyd Mayweather retired, it's been between him and the exciting Keith Thurman at welterweight. I'm unsure if he will return to 147 pounds after his next fight though. I can see him moving up to light middleweight where his solid frame looks to be the perfect fit. In at number 9, Carl Frampton, a second weight world title with that fight of the year candidate against Leo Santa Cruz, earns his spot in my top 10. He looks like he wants to stand and have a fight, but we also know he can box as well. In at number 8, and this one's interesting, people, listen to this. In at number 8, Gennady Golovkin. For all the talk of fighting from 154 to 168 pounds, Triple G just hasn't fought anyone to justify his lofty place for me. I've literally never heard of some of his recent victims. It's a shame there isn't a prime Kelly Pavlik or Jermaine Taylor at 160 pounds nowadays. Even the early 160 pounds Arthur Abraham or the pre-Pavlik Edison Miranda would have took it to him and then we could gauge him. He's looked great in all his outings, but it's opponents we need to see and not just hear gym stories. I don't think he'll run through Kell Brook like many others are saying at all. I also think Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank Jr. would give him a fight. All right. In at number 7, Canelo Alvarez. Interesting that he's above Golovkin, isn't it, people, on Carl Froch's list? Yeah, in at number 7, Canelo Alvarez. I know he gets deserved stick for his catchweight fights, but he's fought and beat Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, James Kirtland, Miguel Cotto, and only dropped a points decision to Floyd Mayweather when he boiled down a bit himself. He gets stick for not fighting Triple G, but even after the Amir Khan fight, I still genuinely don't think he's a middleweight. He's a pure light middle, regardless of how chunky he is between fights. In at number 6, Terence Crawford. Not only can the American box, but I feel he can get in the trenches too when he wants and is an impressive fighter. How he would have fared in the recent 140-pound heyday of Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, and Costa Tszyu, how would he have fared in that era? Tough to say, but he's the king of that division at the moment. In at number 5, Guillermo Rigondeaux, the king of stink in terms of who he's fought, but his pedigree is without question since his win over Nonito Donaire. But he does need to fight someone decent soon or he will be even less relevant than he has unfortunately become. In at number 4, Tyson Fury. It's a shame we've not seen him fight since it happened. He's talking about the Klitschko fight there. But he is the top heavyweight in the world. Beat the man to become the man. Simple as that. In at number 3, Andre Ward. He's unbeaten. He's an unbeaten and decorated fighter, but his slippery point-winning style leaves many people cold. Recent years have seen him reluctant to take any risks at all, and there is talk he may not fight Kovalev, which would be a shame as he really does need a big fight. Really does need to fight a big name soon or he's going to become irrelevant. In at number 2, Roman Gonzalez. It's a travesty that this big punching free weight champ has barely graced our TV screens. Finally, he's getting recognized, and I'm sure the late great Alexis Arguello will be proud of today's best fighter from Nicaragua. And in at number 1, this may surprise some of you, but in at number 1 on Carl Froch's top 10 pound for pound list is Sergey Kovalev. Froch says, the big punching Russian is my kind of fighter. He has proven his credentials repeatedly and provided great entertainment in doing so. Impressive performances over fellow 175 pound champions Nathan Cleverly, Jean Pascal, and Bernard Hopkins deserve merit, especially when it's been without any regard for where the bout has been held. He is far from the slickest, nor is he a multi-weight winner, but he is a highly entertaining throwback who takes on all comers. So that is Carl Froch's top 10 pound for pound list. From number 10 to number 1 again, just to refresh you. Number 10 was Kell Brook. Number 9, Carl Frampton. Number 8, Triple G. Number 7, Canelo. Number 6, Terence Crawford. Number 5, Rigondeaux. Number 4, Tyson Fury. Number 3, Andre Ward. Number 2, Roman Gonzalez. And number 1, Sergey Kovalev. Now, I'm going to ask some questions of this list. Again, I'm not an advocate really of pound for pound list. I won't be doing one myself, but I'm just going to ask some questions about some of these placements here. Kell Brook in at number 10. Does he deserve to be at number 10, given the fact that he's only fought one top fighter in his entire career? Just putting that out there. Carl Frampton. He has yet to face the best fighter in his division, either at Super Bantam when he was there or at featherweight. Does he deserve to be in the top 10? Again, it's just a question. Number 8, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. The best fighters in his division have been running from him. He's been fighting whoever they put in front of him, whoever's actually willing to step in the ring. He did beat Lemieux. He's beaten a few guys. Does he deserve to be in the top 10? Personally, I think so. If you like this kind of thing. Pound for pound list, that is. Anyway, number 7, Canelo Alvarez. Now, Carl Froch makes the argument that Alvarez did beat Austin Trout, Lara, James Kirtland, Miguel Cotto, etc. On paper, he did, but several of those wins were highly disputable. James Kirtland was washed up anyway, and he was never that good to begin with, so beating James Kirtland is neither here nor there for me. The Trout win, the Lara win, the Cotto win on paper seemed good, but all three of them were contentious decisions. I thought he beat Lara. I didn't think he beat Trout. And I thought he beat Miguel Cotto by maybe 1 point. He is mixing in good company there in terms of the quality of opposition, but he's far from convincing against that level of opposition. And you could argue that he's already lost 4 fights rather than 3. Rather than 1 against Mayweather. You could say he's lost 4. You could say he's lost the Cotto fight. A lot of people felt like he did lose. You could say he lost the Lara fight, the Trout fight, etc. So, given the contentious nature of so many of his wins, does Canelo Alvarez really deserve to be so high on the list? It's just a question. Number 6, Crawford. Should Crawford be higher? Should he be lower? Should he be in the top 10 at all? I don't know. You tell me. Number 5, Rigondeaux. Should Rigondeaux be higher than the likes of Terence Crawford? Rigondeaux has fought high-level opposition in the past, but lately, he ain't fought nobody. And it is, again, he's in a similar situation to Triple G. The top guys in his division don't want to fight him and are ducking him shamelessly. So it's one of those type of situations. He's fighting, low-level opposition, just like Triple G is for the most part, but it's because other, top fighters don't want to face him. So what can he do? Anyway, Tyson Fury at number 4. Does one win over Klitschko, who was a dominant champion, justify Fury being so high and above all these other guys who have fought, some of them at least, who have fought more than one top fighter in their division? Again, you tell me. I'm just asking the questions. Andre Ward in at number 3. He's another individual who fought top fighters back a few years ago, but lately he's fought nobody. I know he's about to fight Kovalev. We hope, but until he does, his resume lately looks pretty shaky. Does he deserve to be as high as number 3? I'm not so sure. Number 2, Roman Gonzalez. Now, I can't really ask no questions of Roman Gonzalez. He's done what he's supposed to do, and he is under-recognized, I think. So, I don't think too many people will be questioning Roman Gonzalez's placement in the top 10 at least. Maybe some people won't think he deserves to be top 2, but I certainly don't have any questions about Roman Gonzalez being in this top 10 list. Number 1, Sergey Kovalev. Now, I do have some questions about why Kovalev is number 1. For example, why is he number 1 in the top 10 pound for pound list when Adonis Stevenson is not even in the top 10 at all? Because when you look at their resumes, there's very little between them people. I know there's a lot of hype and a lot of BS that gets spoken when it comes to this debate between Kovalev and Stevenson, but the fact of the matter is, Stevenson avoided the fight. I believe it was back in 2013 or 2014 for financial reasons. And after that, in 2015, last year, it was Kovalev who avoided the fight for contractual reasons or whatever when Stevenson was ready to go ahead with it. So when people say Stevenson ducked, well, Kovalev also ducked. So, that evens the score there. And if you look at their actual resumes, who the hell has Kovalev fought that's so much better than the guy Stevenson has fought? Kovalev fought a washed up Jean Pascal twice. I mean, the guy was, come on, nowhere near his prime. Finished. And he fought him twice. He fought and beat Bernard Hopkins, who lost to Chad Dawson. The Chad Dawson that Adonis Stevenson knocked out in one round. Kovalev also fought Nathan Cleverly. Well, Nathan Cleverly lost to Andre Fonfara, a guy who Adonis Stevenson beat. Most recently, Kovalev fought Isaac Chilemba. Well, Adonis Stevenson beat Tony Bellew, a guy who already beat Isaac Chilemba, and a guy who has now gone on to be a world champion at cruiserweight. So that reflects very well on Adonis Stevenson, doesn't it? The fact that one of his former victims has gone up a weight division and won a world title in good fashion. So really, when you break their resumes down, outside of those guys I just mentioned, and yes, you can say Pascal back in the days did beat Chad Dawson. So, there's very little between their resumes. If you want to give a slight edge to Kovalev, then maybe, but you can barely fit a cigarette paper in between them in terms of quality of opposition that they fought overall. And obviously, Kovalev is going to go and fight this fight with Andre Ward, we hope, and that will finally put him above Adonis Stevenson in terms of overall resume if he's to win that fight. But up until he gets in the ring with Andre Ward and, if he does the business, him and Stevenson's resumes are very, very close. This idea there's a big gulf between them is just not true. So, yeah, that's why I have questions about Sergey Kovalev being at number 1 and being in the top 10 at all, given the fact that Stevenson is not in Carl Froch's top 10. You have to put Stevenson somewhere close to Sergey Kovalev on any list if you're going to be objective about it. You have to, So, yeah, those are my thoughts, people. A lot of people will be asking, why is Vasyl Lomachenko not in Carl Froch's top 10? I think that's a valid question. Why is he not there? Maybe he hasn't done enough to warrant Froch's top 10. I don't know. I mean, does Carl Frampton deserve more credit than Vasyl Lomachenko? Because Froch has got Frampton in at number 9 on his pound-for-pound list, and Lomachenko's not in his top 10 at all. You let me know what you think about this top 10. Some other things that he says in there. Let me see. The stuff that he said about Triple G Golovkin. Interesting stuff. Talking about if there was, Edison Miranda and Arthur Abraham, Kelly Pavlik, etc. Those guys would take it to him and test him, then we could gauge him. Fair enough. But you can't help thinking every time Carl Froch talks about Triple G that there's a little bit of spite there with Carl Froch. Because so many people were saying that they thought Triple G could beat Froch and there was talk of them potentially fighting. So, I don't know, Carl Froch still seems to have a little bit of needle towards Triple G. Nothing terrible, but, there is a little bit of needle there. Anyway, people, let me not make this video too long. Drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know how you feel about Carl Froch's top 10 pound-for-pound list. Maybe you can give your top 10 pound-for-pound list in the comment section below. An explanation for each placement if you wish. Alright? Let me know. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.